Hello and welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to go through a strategy of getting 0 wounded on monsters, which has popped up a bit more in popularity recently, but has been around for quite a while. So if you're going to kill a bigger monster, so for me it would be a Hydra 5, you're going to get normally wounded. And then if your hospital's full, they become killed. Well, if your hospital is full and you have space in your holy palace, they become deserters. So the deserters end up over here in the holy palace. And then all you need to regain these troops is by using these horns down here. And you can also get them by using horns that you've collected, which you can get from monsters gathering. You can also get them from ancient relics as well. But then when you do this, you just get the troops back. So for me, when I use my horns on my T14 cavalry, I get 61,000 back. And I have a deserter total of 320. Now, just be careful. Make sure you don't go over that 320, because if you do, part of them die permanently, and then the others will end up in your revived troop souls. But if you can keep it under the 320 mark, you can basically get your troops back for 0 resource. It just takes a bit of time to either collect the horns or to go out and get them yourselves. So with this, there are some caveats that you need to understand. So the first one is the technology. Now, there is some technology to do under recovery, and some of them have more importance than others. So you have obviously the capacity, which you definitely want because it means you can store more troops, you can kill more big monsters, and especially as there's rewards for certain tiers, such as the Lucky Hunter's Gift, blood crystals, civilization cards even. Or if you're even a newer server, it's just getting those Dragon Scrolls or Archimedes Scrolls. You want to make sure that you can kill multiple bosses. One of the next important ones is the horn storage. Just the more horns you have, the more you can get back each click. And primarily, the reason for having a high storage is that, especially overnight, or during the workday, you want to make sure that you aren't filling up your storage too quickly, because you want to be maximizing the time and getting more troops back for free by just not being on the game. To complement that, you want the horn production, which obviously means that you're just getting more horns per hour while you're playing. And then these have upgraded versions like Senior Holy Palace. As these trees do, it just gets more and more. So I haven't even got mine completely maxed out yet, but that is on my to-do list. Now, the percentages that they start off with are low, but they get slightly higher as you go on. But it isn't always going to be like, you're not going to have a massive storage, but for killing these big monsters, it's a good amount. So the prerequisite to being able to do this is, the main thing is just to make sure that your hospital is full. So this is just after SVS. So I have more wounded than I can actually store, but you want to make sure this is full. So it's the same sort of situation as during SVS, where you want a full hospital so that your dead become troops that you can use your source of life on. Very similar here. It's just that they become deserters and use the horns. And the horns, I would say, is slightly more difficult to come by quickly, but you can get them from other things. So basically, when you go hit them, become deserters, you use the horns to get back your deserters. Now, there is tricks to getting these horns. So the best way to get a good amount of horns is through the boss monsters. So just going around killing. The bigger the boss monster, the more they give. So if I go down to the Griffin, obviously not the biggest of monsters, but it gave me 3 horns. Now if I compare that to a medium Hydra, it's 1 horn. If I compare that to a Bayard, it's... I don't even know if I got any horns from this one. No, I did not. Senior Cerberus, I got 1 horn. Golem, I got 1 horn. If you see the pattern here, Terminators, or the main boss monsters, will give you more horns depending on the level. So I believe like an Ifrit or a boss level 12 will give you about 5. I think a Phoenix or a boss level 16 would give you, I believe it's like 6, and it goes up the higher the boss. So the higher ones you can kill, brilliant, you get horns back quicker, especially if you want to hunt prestige, which most servers, is about boss level 11 or 10 and under. You can solo as like a server rule usually. Just check yours, obviously, just to make sure that you don't cause any issues. But if you can go around killing griffins, just kill 10 of them, you get 30 horns. And it helps you, especially with, if you want to maximize your horn usage, you want to try and make sure that you have the horn production, so that you want to calculate it before you go to bed to make sure that you're not missing out on either too much, like you might miss a couple of hours of horn production, but if you can get it close, use the horns of recalling that you have stored up, which the primary way to get these is things like Vikings. They do drop in some event, and then one big one is the ancient relic chambers. Well, not the ancient relic chambers, but just the relic chambers as one of the rewards. You can get some of these, and then just make sure that you're not going to miss out on basically entire nights of horn production, because that equals bigger monsters being killed. One other way to make sure you're being very efficient with your deserters is making sure that your mounted HP buffs are higher. So the less troops that are dying, the less deserters you'll get, the less horns that you need to use per monster you're killing. So it's just a good sort of a good way to reduce the amount of damage you're taking to make sure that you can kill even more bosses. And then on from that, obviously this event is the pyramid event I think it's on Friday, even though not 100% sure because the events are stopping tomorrow for some reason rather than today. But this coming big event will be the Arctic Barbarians. Now, if you're on a more peaceful server and you do these, even if you don't, one way to get good resources is by doing these, and one way of making sure that you get the maximum resource out of them is using the deserter tactic to kill these Arctic Barbarians. So it just means that instead of losing some of that income you would have got by killing, I think it's 10 a day you can kill, something like that, where you can quite easily get about 50 plus mil of each resource every day by using this deserter tactic. Does mean you probably can't kill as many big bosses, but also because you're splitting it up over lots of different troops, you should be able to get more back for your horns as well. Yeah, this is just a quick episode on just making sure that you're using this deserter tactic, because especially if you're a lower player, it can really help you kill the higher bosses without losing in resources. Even if you can just kill, say, 3 or 4 more a day, that's better than none, and it gives you a chance at much better rewards. So thank you very much for watching this episode, and I hope to see you in the next one. And yes, just make sure that you use this free resource that is passively gained. Thank you very much, and goodbye.